What if I told you that 4.7 million years ago, our earliest ancestors lived in constant fear of death from the sky? Not from storms, not from falling trees, but from giant eagles that could swoop down in silence, grab a child in their talons, and vanish into the canopy before the group could even react. This isn't a scene from a horror film. It's the brutal reality faced by some of the first hominins in Africa during the Pliocene Epoch. These predators didn't just shape the fate of individual victims. They may have left deep marks on our species' behavior, our fears, and even our evolution. Around 4.7 million years ago, the Earth was in the Zanclean stage of the Pliocene Epoch. The world was warmer and wetter than it is today, but a cooling trend had already begun. Forests across Africa were shrinking, giving way to spreading grasslands. Our ancestors lived in these transitional environments, mosaics of wooded patches and open savanna. It was a dangerous place to be small, slow, and unarmed. They were not lords of their environment. They were prey. Before we continue, subscribe to my channel for more mind-blowing facts on the wonders of the ancient world. At this time, one of the most important players in human evolution was Ardipithecus. Imagine a creature about 4 feet tall, weighing around 110 pounds, with a brain no bigger than that of a chimpanzee. Ardipithecus could walk upright, but it was also comfortable climbing trees. That mix of ground and tree living was a double-edged survival strategy. On the ground, saber-toothed cats and crocodiles hunted them. In the trees, another nightmare waited. Eagles. Modern crowned eagles in Africa, some of the most powerful raptors alive today, can weigh over 10 pounds and still kill and carry off prey 3 times their size. Their talons crush skulls and puncture brain cases in an instant. Now scale that up slightly to their Pliocene ancestors, larger and possibly stronger, and you begin to see the danger. To a juvenile hominin standing 2 feet tall, these eagles were monsters. Imagine a bird with a wingspan wider than your arms could stretch, its hooked beak glinting, its talons sharper than knives. Silent, precise, and utterly lethal. For decades, the idea that birds of prey hunted early humans was dismissed. People assumed big cats were the only serious predators. But everything changed with one discovery in 1924. A small fossil skull was pulled from limestone quarries in Taung, South Africa. It was a child, later identified as Australopithecus africanus, about 3 or 4 years old. At first, scientists thought the Taung Child had been dragged off and killed by a leopard or another carnivore. That made sense. Except the evidence didn't quite fit. Fast forward to 1995. Paleontologist Lee Berger and ornithologist Ron Clark re-examined the skull. What they saw was shocking. Tiny puncture marks in the eye sockets matched the exact damage caused by modern crowned eagles when they attack monkeys. Grooves in the skull matched talon marks. Even damage at the base of the skull lined up with how eagles drop prey or tear it apart in their nests. Suddenly, the story changed. This wasn't a cat attack, it was a bird attack. The Taung Child had been snatched by an eagle, killed with talons driven through its head, and taken back to a nest. A horrifying thought, but one that opened a new window on our deep past. And the evidence didn't stop there. At Aramis in Ethiopia, a site over 4.4 million years old, fossils of monkeys were found with the same talon damage. They lived alongside Ardipithecus ramidus. That means while our ancestors were trying to navigate life on the ground and in the trees, eagles were already hunting primates in those same landscapes. Later fossils of Australopithecus afarensis, the species of the famous Lucy, show similar evidence. This wasn't a one-off event. It was a recurring nightmare that spanned millions of years. Think about how these attacks unfolded. An eagle would perch silently in a tree, waiting for the right moment. Below, a group of small hominins might be foraging for fruits or roots. The juveniles, lighter and less vigilant, became the perfect targets. Suddenly the eagle drops like a stone, wings tucked, talons forward. It aims directly for the head. Before the child even screams, the talons slam into the skull. In seconds, the predator is airborne again, carrying its prey toward a distant nest. Imagine the helpless panic of the group below, unable to chase something that moved through the air. The brutality is almost hard to process. Modern crowned eagles can carry prey up to 35 pounds. That's heavier than some early hominin children. So picture an eagle lifting a toddler-sized ancestor into the sky. In its nest, bones would pile up. Skulls, ribs, limbs, all showing the same distinctive marks. These nests, over time, became fossil deposits. Scientists can recognize eagle predation by looking for specific puncture marks on skulls, especially around the eyes, and by the types of bones preserved. Unlike cats, which crush and chew, eagles puncture and drop. It's a forensic pattern etched into ancient bone. This constant danger may have shaped our species in surprising ways. Living under the threat of attack from above could have driven early hominins to band together more tightly, to keep watch not only for prowling cats, but also for shadows in the sky. Sharp eyesight would have been a critical survival trait. Those who noticed movement overhead first had a better chance of saving themselves and warning others. Even today, humans share a deep fear of falling and of sudden aerial threats. Some researchers suggest this could be an ancient echo of those times when eagles were a daily terror. Other adaptations may also trace back to these threats. A strong shoulder girdle was useful for climbing, but could also help in throwing stones or sticks upward in defense. Simple alarm calls might have evolved to warn of predators, laying the groundwork for more complex communication. The survival lessons written by eagle predation could have been stepping stones toward what we later became. But remember, eagles were only one danger. The Pliocene was crowded with killers. On the ground, saber-toothed cats like Machairodus stalked the savanna. Early lions and leopards hunted the same prey. Large wild dogs and hyena ancestors roamed in packs. Rivers held giant crocodiles. Snakes lurked in tall grass. Our ancestors were far from apex predators. They were small, vulnerable, and hunted from every angle. The old killer ape myth, which painted early humans as aggressive hunters, now looks outdated. The reality is harsher and humbler. For millions of years we weren't hunters at the top of the chain. We were prey, and survival meant outsmarting creatures much stronger than us. Eagles, with their unmatched speed and power, played a central role in that struggle. There's also a cultural echo. Across human societies, myths tell of giant birds carrying people away. The roc in Middle Eastern folklore, the thunderbird in Native American traditions. Could these legends be distant memories of a time when enormous raptors were genuine threats? It's hard to say, but the parallels are striking. Even today, rare cases exist of large eagles attacking children. Though they're exceptionally uncommon, the fear is not gone. In science, this story carries another lesson. The eagle predation hypothesis didn't come from a single dramatic fossil. It came from tiny punctures and grooves on bone, the kind of detail you could easily miss. But by comparing these to modern eagle kills, scientists pieced together a chilling story. This is the power of careful forensic work in paleontology. The bones speak if you know how to read them. When we put all the evidence together, a clear picture emerges. From Ardipithecus in the Pliocene to Australopithecus in the later epochs, hominins lived under the shadow of eagles. These birds didn't just kill individuals, they pressured our ancestors to develop sharper senses, tighter social bonds, and new ways of thinking about danger. That long predator-prey relationship may have nudged us along the path that led, eventually, to becoming human. It's humbling, isn't it? To realize that the mighty species we are today was once a trembling child, hiding in the grass, scanning the sky, praying not to be noticed by the shadow of a bird. Our dominance is recent. For most of our history, survival meant looking up. So the next time you see a hawk circling or hear the cry of an eagle, remember, those sounds echo across millions of years. They once meant death for our kind. And maybe, just maybe, they helped make us who we are. If that story rattled you, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who thinks lions or saber-tooths were the scariest predators our ancestors faced. Because sometimes, the deadliest killers don't roar from the ground. They strike in silence from the sky.